Hello, everyone, and welcome to George Mason Overwatch's final match of their conference. Yes, the conference championship for CSL. We're about to hop in. It looks like we're starting on Lijiang. I'm HamsterQuest, joined here by Griff.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all again. Got some wonderful Overwatch ahead of us.
Absolutely, and sorry we didn't get the stream up a little bit sooner. We were under the impression that CSL was going to stream this match, but as it turns out, that was not their plan. And now it's our plan, so we're going to get you some good Overwatch here. GMU, of course, just warmed up. Griff and I gave them a good old run for their money.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure this will be the best play we've ever seen. GMU. Already a big charge from Matthew. Does get the Lucio. Unfortunately, does go down, so they have the Reinhardt advantage. GMU is trying to clean up the rest of the members of these fight, and Hexar not quite landing the punch, but Amform getting 1-2 picks with the help of Binks' 2 turrets. GMU is actually able to close out that fight and get the first fight win, get that point taken over to their side.
Yeah, definitely. My notes from that little scrim block we had is that Matthew really good at charging, and Amform really good at laying down the damage while healing. And both of those happen in that fight there. So good to see George Mason sticking to what makes them strong. Next push is coming in here rather quick. Again, this Symmetra edition makes it so every fight happens pretty quickly. They skip the downtime. Matthew going to charge in, doesn't find anything. Immortality goes down, but looks like George Mason's going to get a couple of deaths here to start off, and Shenandoah is going to take the point. Going to try and force things off here. Niner just doing the best to stall. Right in your face is next up on the block. Going to dive in with the mech and get taken down. Just going to clean everything up here.
Yeah, GMU couldn't really find either a punch or anything with a Doomfist or anything else to start up that fight. They actually went through the choke, so they're looking to play a little bit aggressive, which I thought was a little strange. You know, they didn't really have a whole lot of ultimates ready to sustain that fight, so if their cooldowns did not make them survive, they were not going to win that fight. Right now, Immortality keeping Matthew alive on a thread, does get the charge on the Mei and gets the shatter on the Reinhardt, so now that goes down, but GMU still have a few members of Shenandoah to pick up here, including the D.Va with the bomb, so they have to watch out for that. They have the Lucio the Bat available, so they just have to push this D.Va off. There's still staggering, stalling right now. The Immortality comes out to try to keep them up, so now Shenandoah actually has a little bit of a chance to keep this fight going, but the tick does go over to George Mason's side. They get that point now. Rotating, or not rotating. They tick it up in their favor. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they're coming out to take the fight to these turrets that they've set up here at the main entrance. Shenandoah just going to bypass them, head straight to the point, and a big shatter comes out and lands on multiple George Mason members, but the beat saves most of them. Not going to save Anform, though, and that's both the healers down for George Mason, going to fall early, and as a result, this fight is going to be very difficult. They're just going to sort of bide their time on the wings here. Both tanks just looking to stall the point as much as they can, but Right actually gets demech'd on their way to the point, so it's going to flip over and be their point no longer. Just going to stall and look to regroup at the spawn after that one.
Yeah, GMU is making over to the swap to the Creed now. I feel like that may do a little better in the fights. I think Doomfist was getting the most value. It can be difficult to do that as well, especially when there's a Mei and a Sim just slowing you down when you're just trying to move. So now here, this TP might be a fake. Right in your face does take that up. Now GMU pushing through main here. The window gets walled, unfortunately, so Matthew is in a very dangerous spot. Immortality does keep him up, so Amform still has this window that they're getting a little bit of value off of right now before they enter the point. The self-destruct does come out from GMU. It's gonna not connect on any targets. They still had that sim wall that was out. Now GMU is fighting desperately to regroup here and get another fight. Unfortunately, it's at 90%.
Yeah, and the wall goes up there and blocks the window, but it initially looked good for George Mason. Did a great job of breaking it and trying to make through, but fight's going to be taken to them here. They're going to struggle to even get to the point. Zapat is going to be on a mad dash here, but doesn't eventually get there in time. Right also blocked just at the last moment.
Yeah, Shenandoah, right idea to go up to the choke there and stop GMU from getting a TP onto the point or anything else. Any other members, they all have to go through that choke unless you're a real brave Lucio and are taking
you want to go on the right side.
Yeah, off the map. I know you can do that with ball pretty easily. but I've never actually tried that with Lucio. I think it's probably pretty slow too.
Yeah, definitely with the time crunch they're under there. It's a long flank. The building is like just a direct square. You'd have to go all the way around. So
No.
right choice made, but just not the fortunate outcome they might have been looking for.
I think
move on
GMU
here.
is going to do pretty well on control center.
Yes, they seem to have a
seem to have
stranglehold on this map from what we've
Oh,
seen.
yeah. It's going to be Niners, the one to watch on the Junkrat, of course, has most of the team's damage. You'll see him take some off angles like right here, right now. Unfortunately, the Reinhardt does kind of cover that option a little bit, but gets kind of punished for it. So now the Immortality going out for Shenandoah first. So GMU is getting a lot of value off of this play here. They have the Immortality second. And while only the Lucio goes down, GMU wants to play fast to try to grind out this advantage. Unfortunately, they don't really have an opening to do so. Shenandoah has more damage, but is actually playing a little bit more passive here, so they're respecting GMU. Now Matthew in a little bit of trouble here on the right side. It does get back to his team. Right in your face is right on the flank. Gets a big rock onto the Reinhardt. Now GMU is going to take that fight, and they already have the point.
Yeah, George Mason, they get a good pick there on the Lucio, but it's immediately traded with a Fire Strike, and Niner goes down. So they have the advantage momentarily, but then they lose their main source of damage, so they just have to stall that one out, and they do a great job. Niner books it to point, and eventually they hit that giant rock, and Niner's there to follow up, and they do take the objective. Going to come up and push up to the main choke here. Going to pop the window. Tire's going to come in from the side of Shenandoah. They're going to be expecting it on the flank here. Immortality goes down initially to save it, and works out good. Great heads-up play for Anform. Here comes the push now. A Shatter only going to catch the Reinhardt. Charge comes in, but misses. Rock going to stall him out as well. But in the meantime, the Binks, the turrets are going to work, getting both of the squishy targets that come through, and they're going to stabilize here.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of turret kills on the kill feed for a Binks now. It's at least 4. I remember 2 from last map, or last round. Now GMU does have to... actually, they're doing pretty good. I was going to say they have to watch out for the Sim Wall and the Sim TP that could come in from Shenandoah, but they have the Tire coming out. GMU has the resources to kind of stall Shenandoah at this choke, so Shenandoah really has to worry about this TP Tire. It connects on 5 members of Shenandoah. It was a little bit of a wonky angle. I couldn't see it from my camera where that Tire was going to go. I didn't hear the TP come up, but as soon as I saw it, I knew it was about to happen, so that was impressive to watch.
And that's tough to do, too. That Junkrat Tire, you really feel the time counting down. They're going to teleport to point here. Going to try and flip the objective. Both Symmetra walls come out. A big Shatter gets 2, but the Beat is going to counter it. Make sure everyone stays healthy. Window's going to go up, and the Flux is coming in. Gets multiple members. They're going to be slammed down. Shenandoah going to pop their own Beat. 2 are found from both sides. The trades right now are in Shenandoah's favor, and they're going to clean most of the key members of George Mason up. Jess Zapat struggling for his life right now. Going to stall on the point, but the objective's already flipped. Not going to do much, and they're just going to take the respawn here.
Yeah, GMU almost had it there. I was watching, Wright was looking for the Immortality to come out instead of Shenandoah to get a big Flux in there. Unfortunately, it was pretty far into the fight where Shenandoah had a pretty significant advantage. They had the ults ready for that, and they're honestly looking like they have the ults for next fight. Specifically, the Tire and the Sim Wall is going to be a little bit tough to deal with. GMU is looking for a big Shatter or to play slow. They have a lot of time on the clock. So now here, the Tire's coming out. GMU's watching it on the left side. They have the TP out if they want to get some more space. Actually, it's the TP in, baiting the Tire up to the high ground and wasting its time. Wow, that was actually a really interesting play. That did work out for
George Mason showing so much prowess with the teleporter right now.
Big brain. They're coming in here now. They have the Shatter, but the Sim Wall comes out for the Shenandoah. The Tire from GMU does pick up the Junkrat on the other side. Unfortunately, Shatter does not connect. Amform is trying to make good use of this window he did throw out earlier in the fight. They are going to get that D.Va who kind of sacrifices themselves for Shenandoah. Now GMU do have to back out here. They've lost Wright at some point in that fight, so they don't have enough shield to push forward, so they're going to have one more fight.
George Mason coming up here. There are a couple sentries. Excuse me. They're going to be damaging the shield a little bit here. Anform is going to go down. That's a big deal for George Mason. Does a lot of damage, heals a lot. Beat's going to come in early just to hope that they can get a couple picks here with the shield advantage. But nobody's going to fall initially. D.Va Bomb's going to go up on the side of Shenandoah and catches Matthew. So no shields on the side of George Mason right now. And they're going to pop a Beat on the side of Shenandoah as well, just to make sure that they have a health advantage and they can take out these targets from George Mason fairly easily. And that's going to be the map there.
Unfortunate for GMU, they were feeling pretty strong on Lijiang earlier in warm-up, but unfortunately Shenandoah's quite ready for it. They're definitely playing pretty well. It's unfortunate that GMU couldn't hold that choke. They did. I guess maybe they over-ulted a little bit there. I'm not
Get to
sure
see the tire here again.
I do want to see the tire. There's the TP. He turns around back for it and does see everyone behind the Reinhardt shield. And there's just no way you can stop that unless Immort is up. Everyone's admitting that that was sick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like when you pop that Junkrat tire, you're on a timer, so it's really interesting to see someone have such patience to it, and the team also commit. And just an excellent example of what Overwatch is all about, the teamwork there, working together and using the abilities to get the most you can out of it. Unfortunately, it doesn't turn into the map win, but still good to see nonetheless. Signs of life, and definitely not out of it yet.
Yep, it's going to be GMU's... Oh, that's not the right screen. We'll see right now. We'll be right back on the next map. It's going to be Numbani coming up next. I'm sure they'll hop right into it. So, yeah, you can teleport basically like anything through a TP. You can send diva bombs through it, which is I thought that one of the weirder things.
Yeah, the only real example that I've been familiar with is Symmetra sending her own turrets. Because that's like a solo queue, solo play. But like, you see these organized teams, and they're able to do a lot more with it than I even possible. It's really cool to see. Makes me sort of appreciate the Symmetra pick more than I would have initially.
Right. Like, I don't know if you can send a blizzard through a TP without going through yourself, but things like the bomb, the mech will automatically interact with the TP and send itself through. But I don't know about how other projectiles it works. Like maybe a Torb turret can automatically TP because it's kind of the same thing as
you place it on top.
I think that might work.
Well, actually, you don't place it on top anymore. I'm dated again. You throw it, so you'd actually throw
it on top.
Launch it from a mile away. A little football action.
Yep, and it looks like Shenandoah will be selecting defense for Numbani here. Numbani's not a map we see too often, I want to say. So it'll be interesting to see. I think GMU honestly has an advantage here. Their brawl's good, but I think it's really anytime they can pull out six-man dive or just dive comps in general, even though six-man dive is technically not a dive in the mirror match. But we'll see what they pick here.
It's interesting for us, at least from a spectator standpoint, because almost always we see Lee Jong directly into King's Row. So maybe this is sort of a curveball that could throw either of the teams off, maybe catch them on something they don't expect. We'll have to see how it plays out here. See if any of the team comps have anything that could be a bit special.
Ready for battle.
Looks like more or less what I was expecting from GMU. They do have the TP out. Maybe he's going to switch to a Tracer. But pretty typical defense here. They are bringing out the legs, which wish we could have a 2-0 here right now.
Right.
Need that 2-0-76 on GMU, unfortunately. In CSL, we require full-time students, so 2 is only able to play in the MEAC League and what's the other one? The ABC League. Which, unfortunately, if you missed it, GMU did not make it to playoffs. They ended 34 out of the nationwide. I don't know how many there were, but it was only top 32 that made it to playoffs. Unfortunate.
Starting out things here.
Yeah, I like that.
Heading to the high ground initially. Pretty standard stuff. I like this flank from a Binks here. Just going to see if you can catch any high priority targets in the back line before they fully commit. Nothing's going to come of it though. But still starting to press a little bit. A Binks is getting further on this flank here. But George Mason just slowly creeping up here.
Yeah, they're looking to play a little bit of slow Overwatch. They have the Genji, a Nano Blade takes a while to build up. You don't really win the neutral right here, so they're really looking for a good win condition. As you can see, Binks is on the flank, which is a lot of spam damage. Of course, they find a way in. Unfortunately, they do lose Matthew and IXR in the fight, and so Shenandoah still has massive numbers advantage, but they also don't have any supports. GMU still has Amform up, so as long as they don't lose that to the Tracer, unfortunately they do.
Yeah.
Now Matthew will have to get out. Or wait, whoever was up there. I think it just respawned.
It was right. It was right there on the Diva. Yeah. Pretty good though. We at least see George Mason's thought process there with Binks on the flank and Niner waiting in the sidelines, trying to pick off a key target that might be a little bit exposed to that coast area. Looks like they're going to set up the same way again. It worked last time, just a little bit on the execution, following through with that one missing member. The big problem with this is that Shenandoah is set up on the other side with that legs, the Soldier 76 and the Ana there, so even if they dive this side, and looks like the response is just to give it for now.
Right,
They're going to be jumping in and recalling. Comes a commit from George Mason. They're going to nano onto the point. Monkey is not going to get too much, and Abinks is going to get found by a pulse bomb on the sidelines. Shenandoah is giving the point right now, but they're contesting, and they don't seem to be in too much danger here. Here comes the fight, and it's going to be unanimous in favor of the defenders.
Yeah, GMU, I think, getting a little bit antsy for just trying to get in and win a fight when they should probably wait until there's a more confident way to do that. You know, you get a pick, slow down, take a breath. Unless you really see the next target to go and you're very confident you can take it out, GMU, I think, needs to slow it down and really decide on what's the best course of action for these fights. I think the next fight they can take pretty quick, though. They do have the Blade, the Bomb, the Primal, so this next fight could be
pretty close
quick
as well.
Yeah.
See how many they decide to commit.
Let's see. Looks like they're still trying to set up angles and decide how they want to get in. They're not really taking a lot of space. They're going to open with the Valkyrie, so now GMU's diving that high ground. They have to watch out for the visor. Unfortunately, Zapad has no one to fly to, and he will go down. Oh my god. Binks, unfortunately, copied at a bad spot. He actually somehow touches some sort of ground and tries to walk up a little bit. I didn't even know you could do that over there. I thought it was just going to fall off. So now GMU is looking a little bit sloppy here. I'm tempted to say, well, don't worry. This is a best of 3, but I don't think GMU or I should be signing off this map just yet. They switch over to a brawl composition to just kind of clear the high ground, so we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, the biggest problem right here that George Mason is facing is clearing that top right high ground, as he just mentioned. Voidex on Shenandoah is just sitting there pumping out a lot of damage while George Mason is trying to fight on point, so they're going to try and take a more direct approach this time, coming in through the high ground, taking control of it. Big bio nade's going to come out, though, and the immortality field is going to keep everyone safe but Niner, who's going to get booped out by the monkey. So, a difficult fight here for George Mason. They don't have enough time to wait for Niner to fully respawn, so they're going to have to commit sometime shortly here, and it's going to be difficult. They might actually have time. Niner is a pretty quick guy. Got the legs. Yep.
There he goes.
There's the touch, pretty quick there.
GMU now bringing the fight onto the point. Yep, they got have Niner on the high ground. He has to take a soldier duel. Unfortunately, D.Va answers him. Immort is down for GMU. They're just trying to win their duels one-on-one, but Shenandoah is just too good at helping each other out, staying alive. We only get just Winston in the fight, so that's going to be a full hold for Shenandoah, which is a big turnaround from the last time we saw them play, where GMU got a 2-0 sweep pretty quickly, but GMU no stranger to reverse sweeping, especially when it comes to Shenandoah. They just need to get, they really want the full hold here. Just move this map to a draw, not let Shenandoah get to that match point.
Yeah, just a shame for George Mason. They had a couple of good starts there on their offense, got a couple of picks, but just not able to fully convert that to a objective take. High ground proving a nuisance time and time again on that fight. Soldier just, you know, I won't say completely uncontested, but definitely unmatched. And a lot of good support from the Ana on the side of Shenandoah as well, finding key sleeps onto tank and other high priority targets that are diving them. George Mason not going to take the same approach there. Got their own team comp that they're going to set up with. Little Torbjorn action coming out of Niner.
Yeah, it's a good answer to the Tracer. It's an okay answer to Echo until the turret is gone. Fortunately, I don't know if Stickies alone can take out a turret, but I'm sure with Stickies and a primary fire, that does take out the turret. So
Yeah,
we'll have to see where he
difficulty
gets
too
it.
is for Torbjorn, you want to go repair it, but then the Stickies hit you as well. So
Yeah. It's probably not
sort
the
of
best
have
idea.
to just let the baby die.
Yep.
Unfortunate.
He's going to put that turret on the other side here now. GMU is holding on multiple angles, which is good. They have to run into this dive composition that's similar to what GMU ran on offense, so they shouldn't be thrown for a big surprise about what's going to happen here. They're going to try to fight for this high ground now. They are ready for the Echo on the flank as well. Binks has the pocket, so Answers is watching it, not really answering it right now. Unfortunately, Niner's turret does go down. He has a few seconds before he can place a new one. it's going to be these tanks for Shenandoah that are really pressuring him. Now, Abinks has to take this duel on the other Echo. It's going to be a close fight, but unfortunately, Amform does go down pretty early in the fight. They already lose their backline healer. Now GMU is looking in a very dangerous position. They still have Niner, Matthew, and Wright up. Unfortunately, they have no healers, though, so we have to see if this is enough damage. They do get the DMEC. Matthew is still alive. It looks like Shenandoah doesn't quite have numbers to wipe out them immediately, but then eventually do get there. There's Amform, the first one to die in the fight, does come back, but Shenandoah is going to move 2 maps up in the series pretty quickly. GMU hasn't even won either of their rounds of KOF, so this is not looking the best for GMU.
Yeah, a bit of a slow start, perhaps. Here's that soldier play we saw on the high ground. And just Shenandoah able to take out a lot of high-priority targets very quickly without George Mason being able to respond. You see here, that's the Mercy. Both healers in one play, and they just sort of stranded as well. The rest of George Mason off doing something else, committing the rest of the fight while both their healers get taken down.
Yeah, that's a little bit strange. I feel like, you know, Numbani, maybe this is why they went to Numbani. Not a lot of people are really prepared and seasoned on Numbani. It's kind of the map that I don't really see in scrims very often. And so maybe Shenandoah has been practicing it and wanted to pull it out. GMU didn't look like they were quite ready to attack that, as we can see, even where the Valk and the Ana were in that fight was not going to be a safe place, even if Visor didn't come out. Amform still might have been in trouble, you know, not set up on where there's at least a little bit more cover and better LOS on the high ground on the left side, which I believe at that point was cleared. Maybe they were feeling pressured for time and just had to go in.
Yeah, maybe just a product of that fight going wrong pretty early. That was the fight where they committed most of their ultimates on the other side of it. So
right,
it seems that once they committed those ultimates and didn't get picks to start off the fight, maybe the plan didn't really consider that outcome.
Yeah, unfortunately.
As you said before, though, it's not a best of three. We got another map. They're going to be taking a time out here from the side of George Mason, so they haven't given up. They're going to develop a game plan and come back and give it their best.
That is right. There's no word on next map, but it will be, of course, GMU's pick. Wait a minute. Did GMU pick Numbani?
I'm not sure of the rule set. It would make sense if they lost Li Zhang to have choice of the next map, but
I think actually CSL. No. Let's see. Because they didn't say in chat. I don't think that they wanted Numbani.
No, they only decided which side that they would play on first.
Okay, so maybe there are set maps. Because I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, that doesn't make sense for GMU to even pick Numbani.
That's what I was confused about, because I feel like either team here would pick Kings Row. It sort of deluded myself into believing that it must have been like some sort of counter pick strategy. But thinking further on it, it might just be a... Because like regardless of it's like a trick, I feel like everyone is really well developed on Kings Row, and you just would want to sort of duke it out and see who's the better team. But never know.
Never know. Well, now it's time for GMU to get their second reverse sweep against Shenandoah. We'll have to see if they can
this
through.
Is the comfort zone, right?
Yeah, they're like, we've been here before.
Yeah, this is the reverse sweep comfort zone.
Of course. I think GMU will definitely win out the next point. It's going to be a 2CP. Or is it going to be an escort? I forget the order.
Previously, I believe, one of the last matches we saw, they took it after the hybrid. They took it to 2CP. I recall a King's Row into Temple of Anubis match us previously having. Whether or not that's the same format we have here, I'm uncertain. But if I actually look in the background, never mind. That's based on the just whatever the game decides. Yeah, not too sure. I would say if it's my guess, we go to
a 2CP.
2CP assault. 2CP assault here.
I'm worried most about the 2CP because that can be really snowbally. It's really not a coin flip, whoever wins, but there's a little bit more chance here that a team that wins the first fight can just snowball the map. And we hope it's GMU, so even if GMU isn't really feeling themselves today and Shenandoah is, then we could get lucky on a 2CMP and just snowball them.
Yeah, it starts to mount the
but
comeback,
hopefully now GMU is getting a little bit more focused, getting a little bit more into the match and ready. You know, they are not a team that loses mental when down by 2, as we've seen in the past.
Yeah, as is evidence.
Yep. So as long as they can stay headstrong and move into a 2CP, maybe get a little lucky, they're definitely still in this match. I think I'll feel a lot more comfortable seeing an escort. I think GMU is just going to dominate on an escort map. So if we can get that far, then it'll be up to the map 5, back to a Koth, and then may the best team win.
Yeah, for sure.
Point.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot on the line here. This is the conference championship for CSL, obviously. So if you win this, you are considered top 10 nationwide in CSL, top 10 varsity school. How accurate that is up to debate. But as far as CSL top 10 is concerned, it'd mean we're in it.
Yeah, that brings into the question of if like regions are stronger than others, you know, because like if you have multiple teams that are really good in a single region, they're going to be battling for the same conference championship. But
correct.
Yeah,
exactly.
Regardless, the way to make it simple is just to win, you know.
Yes.
So all doubts are erased then.
Yeah, you win it all. You're the best. That's what any tournament format can do just fine. Past first place, it can be hard to guarantee a second. Double Elam does that. And then past that, if you're trying to guarantee rankings, a round robin is the best you can do. And this is a regional round robin. So you can guarantee that GMU did the best in the regular season, of course. But, right now, Shenandoah appears to have studied GMU, has them somewhat downloaded right now with a full hold, very strong showing on Numbani. It looks like actually the next map might be an escort, and Route 66 is exactly what I was hoping for. I want to see Ball Tracer. I want to see a Sigma. I want to see Ash. Mercy Zen, maybe.
Yeah, we've also seen the Somber from George Mason before, I believe, and that looked very strong too.
Yeah.
Able to full hold, or
as
much as you can full hold on an escort. The cart does move a little bit, but
yeah, it does.
Keeping it to the first choke point.
Yeah. They may even open with a brawl in the containers. So we'll see exactly how they want to do it for this map. Could go an assortment of ways, but I think most ways this goes, GMU should have at least a slight advantage. Of course, Shenandoah does seem to have studied up on GMU, so this might be closer than I'm thinking. It's going to be Shenandoah with the pref on which side they start. This is kind of strange. Actually, you know what? Zap has the lobby lead, so he might have picked Numbani. That would make sense. Because I think it's MAEC that
as a
does
set
the
schedule.
predetermined maps. They'll do things like start not on a Koth, which is interesting. I've never seen a tournament do that before. But it looks like defense will be the preference for Shenandoah. They believe they can get strong holds. I think that's the strategy to do when you are ahead for sure, because you can just put a lot of pressure on the offense. No matter what happens on your defense, no matter how far you get it, you start off on offense, you're feeling fresh. You're like, we got the full clock there. We can do that too. That's no problem. We can get it at the end. But if you're on the offense first and you do not get it as far as you want it, then you're feeling real bad.
You start to maybe change the strategies that you had in mind, trying to get like a cheese play.
Yeah. And oftentimes that could do a lot worse if you're playing not to lose instead of to win.
Very true.
Should be moving in any moment now. I got to eat lunch after this. So
Oh.
I'm hoping maybe we get that reverse sweep pretty quick.
Yeah, as quick as it can
Get
come,
kinda
right?
like-
You're balancing there between wanting it to be quick, but wanting George Mason to take it to the full five.
I will gladly get a little hungry to watch
Yeah,
another
right.
GMU reverse sweep. I'm more hungry for that than I am
Yeah,
for
there
my
you go.
actual lunch. We'll see. There are just waiting on GMU. You know, maybe they're doing a little VOD review.
Developing final strategies before we move in.
They
Or-
appear to need it.
Or apparently it was just getting rehydrated, which is just as
Also
important,
good.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also very important. A lot of the time when I used to coach, I'd always harp on make sure you're hydrated. Do 10 jumping jacks before your game. Just gotta get the blood moving, you know. It's all about blood
Absolutely.
health.
Well, that's what's determining what your body is doing, and every inch counts in
Oh, yes.
competitive matches.
All right, we're about to
Those
see
team
what comps
comps
are
yet?
coming. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm getting antsy. There it is, the double shield.
Yeah.
Coming
As
out
you
for
called it too,
GMU.
the Ash.
The Ash. Yeah, I was expecting ball, but of course this is, you know, you can run the Orisa as well. I think we knew beforehand that Shenandoah doesn't really like to run double shield, so you can see that they've opted to do the Diva with the Orisa instead of the Sigma. That could be a little bit of a problem when, you know, you're running Baller Tracer that the Diva is available to peel, but I'm wondering if that will actually be worse for Shenandoah now that GMU is just worried about their spam from their Ashe and their Hanzo, and Diva can only eat so much of that. So I think this is looking a little bit better for GMU. They do
Yeah, not
go
even
back to the
contributing
Diva,
the Baptiste as well. It's almost like you have 3 hit skins. Or, well,
basically.
Hanzo's close enough. But we starting out here, they're going to give the Shenandoah is going to concede this initial choke. Let George Mason push up a little bit. It makes sense. They have some room to work with in the map score, so they're going to just take a fight that they know they can win, not push up too heavily here. George Mason making a lot of space. Might be able to catch the Torbjorn here, but he's going to duck into Dark. Find a safe position, and here's where the real fight's going to start. George Mason going to throw a little orb up there, but just chip damage right now. Nobody going down yet. Slowly pushing the cart.
Yeah, I think GMU is getting a little bit ahead in the resources right now, so as long as they keep playing this safe, eventually there it is. A pick will come out. Torb getting low as well. GMU should be still on top of the resources. They immorted second in this fight, but they need to close out these kills now that Shenandoah is pushing in and getting aggressive. If they lose too many here, then that could spell disaster for the next fight. They do lose Am form, but they should have numbers here on this fight on Orisa. They have a Binks on the cart too on an off angle, so now they're looking pretty good to kind of hold this cart push. Unfortunately, Shenandoah does get regrouped. Binks has to be a little bit careful here, does back off. He's going back on the angle. They have the dragons available, so I'm wondering if they're going to force it out really quick. There's the window. Honestly, would be a pretty good idea to dragons that now. They don't get value off of that. The pool in there as well. The Bob picks up 2. Now GMU is cooking. This point take. Easy peasy.
Yeah, George Mason maybe making that first fight look a little bit deceptively close. Binks being on the cart the whole time on that Hanzo, not playing in the same sightline as the rest of their team. So like the cart is slow pushing the whole time, sort of getting close to this objective it needs to be pushed to, but they could lose a couple members maybe because of that. But all's well that ends well. George Mason gets their ultimates in time to force the issue and take that initial point.
Yep.
Now
Now
setting up here on the high ground.
GMU taking control of the high ground. They have to watch out. Shenandoah does have a pretty good ult economy here. So they're going to be pushing in a little bit. IXR's on the flank, sees an angle on the Ashe plants. One headshot, but does not close the kill. Unfortunately, this bomb is right in front of Wright's face. He does survive, thankfully. Now it's going to be a Bob and a Bongo on the side of Shenandoah, and that's going to be a lot of damage. GMU's not ready for that. Obviously,
Yeah,
an
the
Immort is not going to be
seventh
enough.
Coming out from Shenandoah, putting that Bob down, who's just spraying and praying, taking out 2. Zapat was maybe a little bit ahead of the rest of his team, popping the rally and getting in their face, but George Mason prioritizing the card push in most of these situations, which is, you know, can't really blame them for it. It's the name of the game. You want to get this objective as far as you can. Going to be coming out of Dark here, pushing the issue on the high ground. Going to drop the bongos early from Matthew. Group them all up, and a nice dynamite in there. It's going to make Shenandoah think twice about this fight. They're going to retreat into their own high ground. Flux comes in and catches the enemy Orisa. Right grabs 2 with that Flux. Looks like Ash was actually in the midst of that as well. And that's just going to be the fight 1 outright. Shenandoah going to have to back away limping. Stalling the Diva as well. George Mason going to take that fight pretty cleanly.
Yeah, GMU still has the Bob for next fight as well. They have to watch out for just a window. Fortunately, they might not get dragged some time if they open with that, but they also don't have that Diva to kind of answer the window, so that might be a bit of a problem for GMU.
They spot the Hanzo out here.
Yeah,
Just going to take some poke damage.
Matthew on point, still has gold available. The Bob's getting thrown out now. Niner has to take this duel with the enemy Ash. Does drop off the high ground. Unfortunately, Bob goes down for the side of GMU, but now the Dragons is up, but unfortunately, Abinks does fall down. GMU is trying to just take this cart and bring it all the way to the end, right? Narrowly avoiding the bomb. They just have to get these 2 picks on the cart. It's too far away for Hanzo to go and contest, so GMU will get that. It's a little scary. Yeah,
a little bit scary. They looked like they were playing off of that Abinks Dragon that was ready to come in, that certified classic flank dragon. Finds them at a angle they might not expect, but gonna go down. The Diva is gonna commit for that, but fortunately, like I said, they keep prioritizing the point, and that's gonna keep their push going. And the Binks, you go down there, but you know, smiley face at the end. You still have your dragon for this next fight, so they might have another setup here. Gonna be contesting this high ground with the main tanks and the supports up there. The Binks is on the point, gonna get attacked by the Tracer, but not going to go down. Here comes the Dragon. Going to go try and force Shenandoah off that high ground. Gets pulled in, but doesn't go down. That's the Sigma. And George Mason has a Tracer in their flank they're going to need to deal with. And Mort goes down, but it's not quick enough. It's just a trade from the side of George Mason, though. They take down the Orisa from the side of Shenandoah in the meantime. And Bob falls back from Shenandoah as well. They're going to push the objective here. Gravity Flux gets 2 and finishes 1. Both the secondary tank and the Baptiste going to go down, and many more as well. The Ash going to go and clean up 1. A nice shot there under the Tracer to kill any attempt at stalling, and Shenandoah is going to have to saddle up for one last push here.
On their last push here, GMU has the bongo. Now a bunch of damage coming out for GMU. They do have to watch out for the window, of course, but they're playing at a lot of angles here, and that's just going to force Shenandoah off the cart in a comfortable 2 minutes and 22 seconds. GMU is looking pretty good.
Yeah, I was definitely skeptical, but you're making me a believer. George Mason looking really good there, and Shenandoah not even contesting that last point. I can't blame him. The 2 closest people were very squishy members, so you know maybe they're playing for the long fight, but sometimes you just gotta jump on that objective and hope the rest of your team can clean things up. Not gonna happen that time though, and like you said, comfortable 2 minutes. That's a really good sign from George Mason.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. I think GMU has, I want to say some better skill on some of the characters, and so that's starting to show a little bit in more of a spam composition, whether people are just landing their shots or not. And GMU is just kind of warmed up and ready for that. So that's good to see.
Yeah, I think it really shows the sort of tact timeout they took. The break, because you know in most situations you'd be a bit antsy here, you know, you like your 1 map off from being eliminated, but George Mason playing that really controlled, really collected, and just like playing the long game, slowly pushing the cart, you know, looking for picks when they get them, not taking very many fights that they have a disadvantage in. They're still playing very much to win, and they're in the driver's seat here on this map.
Yeah, I'm liking that very much. Some early spam from a Binks on the spawn, of course, doesn't really connect. Would be pretty lucky if it did. Now they're gonna rotate back, hold the side ground. They have the ball to deal with. Fortunately, GMU is ready with the BAP and the Brig, so they should be pretty hardy in the back line. Niner does have to watch out for this Tracer that could show up at his side at any moment. GMU is just trying to spam the point. Unfortunately, Matthew goes down, so Shenandoah may take this opportunity to get a little bit aggressive. That is not the point that I thought we were on. I messed up my camera there. Unfortunately, a Binks does go down. It's going to be the Tracer on the back line. Niner is struggling to get this pick. Unfortunately, now members of Shenandoah are helping him, but GMU pushing forward to help Niner stay alive. It's the Brig and the Orisa helping him out as well as the BAP. So now GMU now has a Binks back, trying to spam this ball, but it's really going to be who can take the better angles. Shenandoah has a little bit more space to work with. GMU is just kind of forced to hold this corner, and they might be able to do that okay, but the Tracer probably has a perfect angle on that.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb coming up too. They've just been picked. They've just been a gnat on the back of George Mason.
There it is, and Wright does manage to eat it. I don't even think he was exactly trying to do that. The Zen getting quite low, does go down. Now GMU has some hope in this fight. Looks like Amform's window proved useful as well. They do have to worry about the Bob. It does pick up a Binks. Now GMU has to worry about their tanks. Amform just try to keep the heals up. Unfortunately, the low health Tracer does pick him. It's just going to be Matthew on the cart with Bob, though, to help him out a little bit. So GMU might actually get to recontest here. Matthew just had to force his gold. It's getting quite low. It looks like Shenandoah has way too many numbers, though, so unless something big happens from a Binks and Zapat, I don't think it's going to happen. I think I find that rally a little bit questionable.
Yeah, Zapat is a believer.
He was a believer. I kind of saw it if they were able to sustain that. The rest of the members of GMU were pretty close, but
just didn't get there in time. Yeah.
Yeah. I think at that point Shenandoah could have just ult rotated and still won that fight, but maybe they were looking to get out a few more ults from Shenandoah. That might have been the game plan, not necessarily to hold.
A couple George Mason members already out on this second area of the map. Going to be taking some space, making sure that the rest of their teammates can come from spawn onto this high ground. Pulse Bomb goes down from a Binks and finds the enemy Ash early. It's going to be rezzed, but the Binks is fine with that. You stick around for the res, and it's going to take out your Mercy as well. A couple of trades going back and forth. Niner's going to fall, so all said and done, it's a 2-for-1 in the favor of George Mason. Binks is going for more, jumping into Dark, going to recall back, and doesn't find what he's looking for, but it's pressure, and it's keeping Shenandoah off the cart, and that's the name of the game.
Look at GMU's position here, this aggressive position in the Mega Room. They're able to kind of bunker down in here. Look at that Immort and the Bongo. D.Va, no way that they can, I was going to say clear them out, but Wright peeks this bomb, unfortunately, does go down. So GMU is eventually going to lose this bunker hold on the right side to the tanks and the Tracer from Shenandoah. I think still alive.
Yeah, I like that a lot from George Mason. They got 2 ultimates out of it, especially the Trance, which is pretty high priority, but they're committing a lot more on the back of this, and maybe not exactly what they need to do. Random, it's going to be popped for the res here. Kind of startled me for a second, the Valkyrie coming out from Mercy, but it's just to get them tempo, keep this ball up, who's going to be contesting George Mason when they come out and try to stop this card from pushing.
Yeah, 2 big things happened there. GMU taking that hold exactly where they did. Now they get much more time to contest the side ground. They don't even care about these mines, to be honest. They can clear them out. There's also a pick from Niner on the ball. He had to high noon cancel it and then throw in another fan the hammer to pick the ball. So that was actually really fun to watch. GMU staying alive, not letting this ball take them down. Unfortunately, Amform is a little bit out of his immortality, so he does go down to the Pulse. But GMU has ults, and so they're pushing forward with the rally, stabilizing here. Shenandoah is trying to stay alive, though, so they're just getting forced back. GMU is taking some ground. They're getting a Binks on the back angle. He tries to throw the post bomb. It does connect with the Zen, so GMU looking like they may hold this point if they can get their members back and not die to this bomb. Unfortunately, it's Niner forced into a bad spot from the Tracer and the bomb both there, so just ults coming out for the side of Shenandoah is going to lead to a point take, but they have 3 minutes to work with on the defense here.
Both teams getting an early pick there. The issue is for George Mason, they get a pick on the ball, and for Shenandoah, they get a pick on the Tracer. Both of those characters can get back to the fight fairly quickly, so neither of them want to give it up, and Shenandoah just wins the war of attrition there. Finding a couple key picks using ultimates, that D.Va bomb onto Niner, going to take out a lot of the damage from George Mason, and despite the rally, Shenandoah able to take that one, and they're going to be setting up on the 3rd point now. Doing a little bit similar to George Mason, taking the high ground here, trying to force them off it. George Mason is stationed a little bit further back because of their respawns that they're waiting on to come up. Valkyrie going to be popped early here, and the high noon in response. Niner seeing if he can find the Valkyrie. pull's going to come out, but it's not going to pull anyone into the sight lines. Niner just going to let that one go. And the bongos are going to drop from the side of George Mason as well. Window's going to go up, see if they can find anyone, but a trance in response. Immort field in the back. Binks is getting contested by this ball in the back line, but it's just an annoyance right now. Nobody going to go down just yet. Window's going to expire, and a big dynamite comes out from Shenandoah, but no members are going to go down just yet. Bombs in the back line. They're trying to push George Mason into them, but they're refusing to be moved from this point that they're playing. They're going to contest in the cart here. The shield from Matthew is going to block the pulse bomb, and then the bomb from right is going to go down as well. Lots of ultimates being popped and coming out in the side of George Mason's favor. They're going to finally force that ball back to the spawn and stabilize here. Really good from George Mason. Yeah, that was a really tense fight. Nobody wanted to go down.
Jesus, all right. Well, GMU has the rally coming into the next fight, as well as a bongo and a molten core that could come up pretty soon. Binks has been doing a pretty good job kind of watching the backline there. So Niners had a pretty safe time. As I say that he's at 8 health. He's looking for a dynamite. Unfortunately, GMU couldn't find their Ash to go and heal, so now they're playing one member down in this fight. They are going to commit the bongo here to try to pick up the ball. Looks like that's not going to work out for them. There was damage available for GMU, but not really able to do much off of it.
Yeah, they get close enough to contest this cart playing in that back corner, but once the Diva Bomb comes up from Shenandoah, it flushes them out, and they're right into the sight lines of the rest of the Shenandoah members. So unfortunate from George Mason. They're going to get forced back here. They're not all going down. They're sort of staggering, and that might spell trouble for this last contest if they want to try and avoid overtime for this map. Matthew going to be going down here. Fortunately, Wright gets into the spawn, so probably going to be the first order of contesting. Looks like multiple members are coming up, so George Mason is going to have a collected push here, but they're going to have to get on the objective right now. Wright is filling that duty. Matthew's looking for a fight in the back line. Big molten core coming out, going to force Shenandoah members from contesting the cart here and starting to push. Going to get picks on multiple members here, but looks like they're coming in the favor in Shenandoah. They're going to use this Transcendence to try and get the res off, and it's going to be successful, bringing their DPS back into the fight. George Mason going to have to do their best to stall here, and it's up to Matthew and Wright, both on the cart right now. Anform getting contested in the background. He has to stay alive. There's the Immort to stay alive and keep the healing out for George Mason. That bomb is going to find the Hanzo from the side of Shenandoah. Bomb in response, but it's not going to be enough jets yet. George Mason barely hanging on, putting all their members onto the cart. Rally's going to be popped to try and keep these members alive. Wright is just a baby diva doing his best to stall. He's going to buy enough time for Matthew to get out, and Bob's going to be popped as well, forcing multiple members of Shenandoah back. It's in overtime right now. If whoever gets off of this cart is going to be the victor here, and it looks like it's going to be George Mason, but Wright dives back in just in time, expends the whole health bar back in baby form again. Binks is on the cart here. Multiple members going down, the Valkyrie popped. Shenandoah just has too many resources that they're able to throw at the cart and eventually force George Mason off of that. But it wasn't from lack of trying. George Mason keeping that alive for about 40 seconds longer than I thought they might have. It was a valiant effort.
Yeah, that was a really good stall, honestly. It didn't look like they had too many opportunities to really turn the fight. They just got members in. They got a pick here and there. Unfortunately, none of it was enough to hold the point there and win the map. But honestly, getting it to overtime is great for GMU. They get an extra minute on their push, right, because they capped the map at 220. Now they have 320 to work with on their offense. It's going to be Shenandoah starting on their offense, though, so they're going to have a minute. GMU is looking to get the close hold with the Brawl comp, and I think that'll be great. I think this is slightly risky, but honestly, it might be worth it, honestly, because that cart is probably not moving anywhere for a minute, and GMU either keeps it that way, and then there's no way Shenandoah can do that for 3 minutes and 20 seconds, or GMU unfortunately may lose a first fight. I don't really see that happening. With this comp, that usually doesn't happen. You usually are there for a little while, but if they actually rotate over to the Brawl, I wonder if they know about this for some reason. So this is weird. They do know about it. They're checking it out.
Both teams maybe having the same idea here.
Yeah.
George Mason going to commit first. Both walls coming in. Immort going to go down first for George Mason. Shenandoah going to respond with their own. Just losing the Reinhardt on both sides, but Anform goes down early, and that's going to be a lean to the side of Shenandoah. They're going to have more healing. They're going to be able to see in the fight a couple more picks here.
Yeah,
Both teams sort sort of having the same game plan here. And like you said, the one thing we didn't want from George Mason was for them to get full wiped here. They need to use their tools to stall the point for as much as they can. But at least they all go down cleanly. They're going to have another fight here, and Shenandoah only has 15 seconds at the time. So if they can all group up and get them off of the cart here, you don't even have to win the fight. You don't even have to kill all members. As long as you can keep them off this objective here, it's going to be a success. And they're rotating around. Going to look to buy time here for their shield to recharge. And George Mason going to jump out of the point.
Yep, they're going to hop another point. They're going to knock Reinhardt down and Seymour out for Shenandoah first. GMU throwing it out second. Unfortunately, Amform couldn't drop down to get into that that immortality. The High Noon just not staying out long enough. Unfortunately, the bomb coming out for Shenandoah. It does pick out Binks, and now the Blizzard is not good for GMU. Thankfully, Niner is still alive, and just there are not any members of Shenandoah left, so it looks like GMU may hold this. They have to clean these picks up very quick. There's just the Reinhardt left. I don't think there's anyone after that, so they'll definitely get that.
Oh, they're getting closer, yeah.
Yeah, that was scary to watch at first because I saw Amform throw down his immortality but hold the high ground, so he's a little bit vulnerable up there, and then their D.Va saw the opportunity to pick him. Thankfully, GMU, I think the zoning from the High Noon, because I just caught the tail end of it where it unfortunately didn't get a pick, just allowed the rest of the members of GMU to just stay alive on the cart, and the way they played around Blizzard was near perfect that they didn't go down to that. And so that was kind of like Shenandoah's last big win condition there. It's just to throw the mail down and get back control of the cart, but it didn't work out for them. So now GMU has 3 minutes and 22 seconds to work with, and that's looking pretty good. It did not get past first point.
They're doing a very good job there with the High Noon. Buys a lot of space for George Mason, and then has very good positioning as well. The Blizzard goes down, and if he was any closer, feeling more pressured by the cart being pushed. Might have gotten caught in it, but by this time stays far enough away to do damage, but not to get caught, and works with his teammates to peel members off of that cart. And makes this a very winnable map for George Mason, just looking at the state of the game here. That's a lot of time to push just that distance, but obviously Shenandoah is going to make you work for it as well.
For sure.
Compositions.
Thankfully, they don't have to worry about the brawl. I think they're kind of expecting it here. It's usually why you pick out a Pharah. So you'll probably see you jump up and check the cart. Actually, he sees them down low, so now GMU is just going to spam that. I like the long-range damage that a Pharah provides, so you do have to watch out for just the Ashe. It's going to be kind of up to a Binks, and I'm going to say Matthew to kind of deal with that. Matthew now rotating to the back line. They're holding on the low ground, so honestly, I think GMU is pretty comfortable with that. Even though they can't push into it, they should be able to set up angles pretty well. There's the pile drive. It's pretty big on the front line. He has a very big shield on top of that. The Karissa is discorded, but unfortunately not able to pick it up. But it doesn't seem to be the target. It Binks picks two right there. And now Amform's Discord is still up in this fight, making a lot of damage available for GMU. And there's just no one left from Shenandoah. Now they still have angles on the last two members. It's both healers, and now they're kind of staggered. There's no way they're going to be able to touch. It's just going to be up to this Tracer to stall a little bit longer with their ball. It's looking like it's going to be GMU's win here as long as they stay alive. And watch out for this Tracer. They are peeling Amform right now, so he is staying alive. Unfortunately, Zapak goes down to a Helix Rockets, and so does Zen. GMU losing both of their supports right now. It's really up to just the tanks and IXR to stay alive. He does jump down. Unfortunately, he goes down, but the mines are there. Is GMU going to opt to stay in this fight or say, hey, let's regroup, let's not overcommit? The mines are there.
Oh my goodness.
Huh?
I can't believe it. That definitely looked like Shenandoah had George Mason on the ropes there.
Yeah.
Able to get many key picks, taking out both the healers, putting in all that work, just to accidentally hop off the cart at the end and give George Mason the map.
Yeah,
that's a bit of a tilter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's exactly what GMU wants. Now hoping that they're tilted going into their next map. I remember specking this right play, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Pretty good rate. But yeah, I was worried about when it's overtime or you're about to cap, you get kind of, what's it called? You get kind of comfortable with your positioning.
Yeah,
I saw
absolutely.
the members of GMU stacking. I'm like, this is a comp where you got to play your angles. And I know you want to get members on that cart to force 3 people pushing and get there as soon as possible. But then they start to get value off of GMU's slight misplay there. But in the end, doesn't matter. A C9 happens, and GMU is able to move up 1 map in the series, bringing it to a 2-1 in Shenandoah's favor currently. But the sweep, it's coming, Shenandoah. It's coming.
Yeah, and what worse map to go into off of a little bit of tilt, if they do in fact have that, than a 2CP. This is where the snowball could just get even larger if George Mason can force the issue.
Okay, I'm going to bring us to a quick BRB to grab some water and use the little caster's room.
We'll be right back, though.
We'll be right back. All right, we are about to hop into the next map, Temple of Anubis. If you're just joining us now, what the heck, man? You're missing. You missed so much good Overwatch, but don't worry, you're in for some more. I'll let it slide. It's the best of 3, CSL Conference Championship, GMU versus Shenandoah. And now it is on to map 3. GMU just won Route 66 after losing both Li Zhang and Numbani. Here they will be starting on the left side, which should be defense. Blue means defense, right?
Yes, it normally
At the
would.
start.
Sometimes things get mixed up. but
Yeah.
I believe so.
I believe so as well.
You're correct.
I am. I always am. GMU going to be running not quite double shield. They have the D.Va there, but they have the Orisa. This has been working out, this composition for GMU. This is what I was kind of expecting, right? I was like, the Escort I'm feeling more comfortable about, and 2CP is going to be a little bit of a toss-up. We might need a little bit of luck here just to not get rolled. Thankfully, this is a little bit of a hardy comp. It's hard to kill a BAP and a Mercy. You get a Res and Ashe in the back, who has the D.Va there to peel. Orisa with gold. Hopefully there wouldn't be a steamroll coming out. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, especially with the Hanzo as well as the Ashe. They have a lot of high ground control, and this is pretty, yes, elusive, but it's also an interesting first point that it has a lot of high ground options as well. Shenandoah gonna come for this flank with the Tracer and the Ball working together, just sitting at this Mega, waiting for the time to be right. George Mason giving up a lot of space here, but are rewarded with a pick to start off. That's the Echo going down, and the Mercy as well. A Binks getting a couple clean shots in, and gonna make this a difficult push for Shenandoah. Gonna demech the D.Va as well. Binks is doing a lot of work right now.
Oh, yeah.
Shenandoah, Ball gonna come in for a little slam, but gonna quickly turn tail and run. Binks just gonna pick up another one, and Matthew gonna make sure that Binks doesn't get all the credit. 2 last kills are gonna bring this push to a halt for Shenandoah, and they're gonna have to give it one more try.
Alright, I'm now feeling much more comfortable as a caster in this match, because that was kind of the biggest thing to be afraid of, winning a first fight and then rolling the second point with ult economy. Thankfully, GMU is ready for this. They even have Niner in a safer spot now. The Ball Tracer won't have anything to jump on except the core, which is kind of what you're baiting, right? You want to bait your Orisa who has gold and will be able to sustain. My God, I can talk.
Well, but gonna fall off the high ground here.
Yep, they still have the immortality, so they're feeling pretty safe. It's going to be the Tracer that's forced recalled inside of Shenandoah. They're going to commit the Dragons, GMU that is, and so now Amform getting a bit low. They have enough DM, not enough DM to get the res, unfortunately. So now GMU's in a little bit of danger. They have some members up, including a Binks, who's been fragging right now. Unfortunately, doesn't get a pick right there. But Wright gets one, gets two, actually. It's on this Echo, who doesn't have a pocket. Unfortunately, it's going to be the mines that, or the stickies that come out and kill him when he is demeched, unfortunately.
Yeah, Binks finding a lot of ult charge there based off of all those picks he got in the first fight, but it just ends up being a sort of zoning ultimate, and Shenandoah taking advantage of that. Instead of going for the point, they take the fight to the George Mason backline and find both the healers, and it's hard to take a fight when you lose both of your healers initially. George Mason just doing what they can to stall that one out, take as much time as they possibly can from Shenandoah before they move into this next point and make sure that they don't completely roll over and get a push here started. Shenandoah gonna set up once more. Still have this Ball and this Tracer, so they're gonna be looking for a pick on a key player from George Mason, probably a support line or especially DPS member. But Binks is going to find the pick first. There's the trade from Shenandoah, and the duplicate onto the D.Va is going to be contesting Amform in the backline on this window, making sure the damage can't come through. They're going to res theirs as well, so George Mason in a disadvantaged situation here right now, numbers-wise. Pulse Bomb going to land onto a Binks, and Zapat going to fall shortly after. Matthew as well, and a lot of members of George Mason are falling. Bomb's going to begin to equalize things.
Got a touch.
Wright is going to contest at the last moment, doing best, but going to be demeched. And Zapat and the Binks coming out. Matthew as well. A lot of fast members making their way to the point. And George Mason has the numbers here to sort of equalize and force them off just in time before the objective is completely taken. 93.8% from Shenandoah. That's a great push for them. George Mason puts an end to it before it gets too out of hand, but they're going to be happy with that on the side of Shenandoah.
Yeah, GMU somehow managed to pull that out. I believe Shenandoah has forgotten about the right factor. When you play against GMU and your name is Shenandoah, bombs are just bigger. Plus 20% elims off of bombs. They forgot about that hidden passive GMU has. Now here, Niner's on the Sombra, which is a lot better for scouting here. And Matthew's looking to get some value off of the information. Is drawing back the members of Shenandoah, who are getting pretty greedy for this, to be honest. It looks like Matthew will get out just fine. will have to recover and get some health. Shenandoah not looking to push immediately off of that space. They are still forcing out Matthew a little bit, who does get healed up now. They are looking to get onto the point. They are going to commit the mines. GMU doesn't have any ults to retaliate with, so they just need picks. Binks answers first, getting the Echo. Unfortunately, he does go down. Zapat's now brawling on the point with a few of his teammates. They still have to stay on the point to make sure it doesn't flip over, so they don't really like how they have to position. Zapat is able to stay alive, though. Right's there as well. Now Shenandoah trying to back out here on the right side. GMU looking to push that a little bit. The pile drive connects on Just Ball. Unfortunately, GMU not able, I was going to say not able to get anything off of it, but 2 ults come out on the side of Shenandoah, so GMU is loving this fight. Now they're going to retaliate with 2 ults of their own. Unfortunately, Shenandoah able to kite that a little bit, and they are going to lose a Binks somewhere in that fight, unfortunately. The mines are still there to stall Shenandoah from approaching the point.
EMP.
And now the EMP is big. GMU is looking to get some value off of this. Unfortunately, Shenandoah is really good on the peel. GMU overcommitting just a little bit. They have the rally, though, in the Immort, so now GMU is looking to brawl this. They do get the Tracer with the mech, the remech kill, and so now GMU has the numbers they need. They can push down here if they want to. They want to answer the ball first. It looks like Matthew's in the furthest, but Brig healing is a little too much for his little pea shooters, so they are going to survive. GMU, though, able to stabilize and bring the clock down to 1 minute left for Shenandoah.
Yeah, Wright and Zapat coming up big in that fight. Wright lighting up the kill feed, finishing a lot of kills, making sure that George Mason stay in this, and Zapat, when those mines come down in the back line, clearing all of them out for Anform, making it so that their support line stays alive, doing exactly what a support needs to do, and they keep this winnable for George Mason. Another push going to come in here. Mines are going to be in the back line again, and they're going to be a bit sanctioned off from the rest of their team. That is the support line from George Mason, but no picks coming out of it yet. Bob is going to unfortunately go down on the low ground, miss the objective, which is crucial for George Mason. They're going to have to put their tank line on instead. Window comes out, but Shenandoah is hiding from it. Bomb comes out, but Zapat's in the immortality field. Going to live for just a moment longer, but eventually go down. And the Diva Bomb's going to buy some space, but not enough. Wright is contesting. Going to lose his life, and eventually the point.
Seconds. Yeah, we'll go over to Shenandoah. I saw coming into that Shenandoah had a pretty significant ult advantage. They were looking to play fast. Honestly, they could have played even a little faster, but they're hesitant in respect. Are hesitant and respecting GMU's just position in play, so that did work out for them. Unfortunately, the Bob, I think, was a big factor, and in those last 20 seconds, just it looked like it was going to land on the point. I've literally thrown Bobs on, like, Volskaya, right? You're, like, on that second point, and there's some of those high grounds, and you're like, okay, I'm going to throw Bob on the point. He lands on one of those high grounds, just runs into the room in the top, and you're like, I needed you on point. He just doesn't come down where you think he'll come down.
Yeah, unfortunate, because that prompts the George Mason tank line to be forced to play where they didn't want to. They wanted a little bit of safety there, time to replenish cooldowns, health, all that good stuff, but forced into contesting the point. And, you know, just a bit unfortunate. Like you said, sometimes doesn't go where you want. George Mason still does their best. Actually survives for a little bit longer than I thought they were. I thought that was going to be tragic and result in the instant demise, but they stall for a little bit longer, and 20 seconds is difficult, but not unwinnable. They're going to be saddling up for their own push here and going for this brawl comp with the Reaper.
Yeah, honestly, it's a great hold. So GMU, I think, should still be pretty proud of that.
Especially considering the original circumstances where they're
yeah.
off the first push, we're almost already to 93. Definitely feels good to stall that one out and make Shenandoah work for it.
Yeah, GMU is trying to get a Binks in here. They do pick the Tracer. This is huge. So GMU might be able to get in a steamroll. They have to play fast into this composition, so they're looking to dive this backline. Unfortunately, if Binks is going to go down, it's a little bit of a split dive. Unfortunately, they didn't get it as fast as they wanted. This Mercy healing is keeping up back longer than they want, but GMU should technically win this. I mean, they have the damage. Mercy goes down as well, so as long as the rest of the members of GMU don't get really singled out in this fight to Tracer, and Wright, thankfully, was able to remech. And
yeah, that was
the
incredible.
The worrisome part.
I was a bit worried because George Mason pulled that trigger just at the last second. If they waited any longer, the Tracer actually got resurrected. So it might have been a little too late. George Mason, they're going to have to try and take the rest of this objective, but Shenandoah is here in time. They get 2 initial picks and a double pulse bomb that gets 2. That's disaster. They're not going to get the objective this time. They're going to have to get one more push here from George Mason.
Thankfully that it means no real big ultimates for Shenandoah. I think a bongo isn't really that worrisome. A window could be, but GMU has the composition that wants to play fast and get to the back line and really kill these targets pretty quick. So even though a bat might throw out a window, might throw out an immort, GMU should be fine into that. They have a Binks on the back line looking to get a target. They have Amform with the Coalescence that they're, I'm sure, looking to pull the trigger at any moment. They just need to find an opportunity and find it quick before the rest of the ultimates come online for Shenandoah. There it is. They're going to pull the trigger now. It's going to be Amform throwing the Coalescence at Orisa now. The bongo is not safe. GMU pushing. They're going to commit the Primal as well. I don't think they need anything else. That's just the opening that they were hoping for the first time, but now actually we're a little bit more together and very safe. Each member of GMU remained safe, which is great. A little Lucio hiding by the leaves there.
Yeah, it's a great showing after just unfortunately not being able to cap the point that first time around to regroup, come back, and get a clean fight with no members going down. Really good for George Mason. They're going to be playing quick here. And Binks is in a great position here for a big EMP. Going to get everybody but the Lucio. Blossom coming in. Not going to find anybody but the Lucio, but that's fine. And going to pop the beat here. High noon.
They should have plenty of sustain in this fight. They're just looking to take out this Reinhardt. Here they have like one more ult to work with. It's the bomb. See, they're trying to pick out the Doom, but the hack is big. Yep, Doom is there. Right, had just enough DM to stop that those shots. He's looking to just tank, absorb all the damage from the window, and then bomb himself. So now GMU, unfortunately, are not able to get the picks fast enough to fully cap the objective. Unfortunately, Amform does go down as well. So GMU had a chance there, but Shenandoah was really quick on getting away from the Reaper ult once the EMP came out.
And I was a bit worried there. George Mason were going to start to stagger, but they're just, I guess, they're aware of the cooldowns that Shenandoah has, and they work just long enough to get that beat to be committed, so not going to have that for the next fight. So a Binks who's coming up on another EMP won't have a beat to counter it. And George Mason going to take this brawl. Shenandoah playing up very close. They don't want George Mason to get any of this space, and it looks like it might work out in their favor. Big high noon coming out of the Cassidy on the side of Shenandoah, and that's going to force George Mason back to spawn and buy some time for Shenandoah to sort of replenish some of these ultimates that they do not have just yet.
Yeah, GMU has to remember. Yeah, this Reinhardt's in a scary spot, but he should be fine.
Yeah, it gets out.
Might be a little bit more of a bait than anything. GMU has to play slow with this dive composition into brawl.
If Binks is back on the point, though, nobody's there. Just baiting them back.
Yeah, baits them back. They're going to throw out the window. Primal is coming out as well. I'm not quite sure what this is for. They're trying to close the space and get the Primal, or sorry, get the EMP to connect. Amform is able to stay alive and avoid that bomb. Unfortunately, GMU, I don't think is going to win this fight either. They have the Reaper, but he does get hacked. GMU just not able to get another tick here, unfortunately. Okay. I'm having my emotions changed so quickly. It went from excitement to disappointment in a matter of milliseconds when they got
both of those DPS ultimates from George Mason just not getting what you want. The Binks EMP only lands on the Reinhardt, who's picked, but everyone else on Shenandoah is safe and able to use their abilities to stay alive, and then the picks just come out in their favor. Niner a little bit too late on that Blossom, but if you're going for the switch, I guess as long as the losing of the ultimate isn't what prompted it, that's fine, you know. Going to be heading over to Dark here, trying a different angle of approach. Binks is in the back line, but Shenandoah is very much aware that he's here, and translocates out just in time. Zapak going to get caught in the back line, and EMP going to come out from Shenandoah, but the picks aren't in their favor. George Mason pushing forward. A lot of members down. They're going to need to take out a couple more here to make sure that this stall doesn't happen from Shenandoah again. They're going to force them off the point, but Shenandoah is stalling. Going to need a pick here. The beat's going to come out, and counter beat as well from George Mason. They're going to have both the shields to work with. Niner on the front line, but doesn't get a pick on the Reinhardt. Shatter is blocked, but Niner steps in front of the shield and couldn't go down. George Mason loses 2 members, and surely they can't win this fight. They're going to have to back out now and buy enough time But Shenandoah is not going to let them leave without a fight. Going to take out Amform as well. And looking for a Binks who's in this mega room.
You know, when I'm interrupting you. Binks.
You're alright. I was just going to say invisible, hiding in the flank.
I was actually worried when GMU got multiple picks there because I'm like, oh no, they're going to commit to the fight because it's winnable. But it's not likely that they'll still win it with all those spawn advantage and still being down. Thankfully, they have ults coming in here to the next fight. And they don't have to worry about an EMP. They're going to open with a high noon. I wish it at least broke the Rhine shield. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible. They're gonna have to just win off this EMP. It's massive. And the shatter connects as well. This is exactly what GMU needs in order to take this point. They do have to worry about the high noon. Get some cover. They're trying to kill it. Unfortunately, Niner will go down, but GMU has numbers on the point, so they're going to get another tick here. Spawn advantage is going to be pretty rough for GMU. They do get a big hack on that Lucio, who's looking to stall, and now GMU is looking pretty good. They have to get rid of this Reinhardt. Big health pool, and now Matthew charges it out for the point take.
Just in time, too. 3 members of Shenandoah were coming out of the spawn. The 2 of them being a D.Va and a Tracer, so that stall was going to go on a little bit longer. That was very close from George Mason, but they pull it out in the end. Really close. Great EMP to start off that fight and
he survived. I was afraid that he might try to translocate to get a better EMP angle, but likely die as a result. He was able to stay alive and get that hack on the Lucio, as we saw. Specifically.
Yeah.
My goodness.
George Mason keeping us on the edge of our seat. But coming out in the end, but not over yet. The Shenandoah still does have a 20-second advantage, which admittedly isn't that much, but when it comes down to these contests, it can mean a lot.
Yeah,
George Mason gonna still be on the offense again, so they'll have a chance to replicate their last push.
Right. It's gonna be 60 seconds to 80 seconds, so honestly, that's a difference in 33%. They have 33% more time, or 1/3, if I want to be more accurate. And GMU is pulling out a composition that, as soon as they see Brawl, they either say quick swap to spam. Might not work. Brawl is going to be hardy for a minute, and it's going to be difficult. So they're probably going to stay on this and just try to force rotations specifically out of Shenandoah. They need them to get moving. And okay. So they do say, let's not deal with that. That was going to be pretty difficult to do that because 6-man dive has to play pretty slow, and a minute is a short amount of time. Unfortunately, they kind of have the same problem here on spam and the partial dive with the ball and the tracer. So they're looking to get angles here. They need to stay alive. Any pick here now could be devastating for GMU.
Yeah, they've already lost half their time.
Yeah, and they're just looking for a hit at the right time. See ball and tracers still waiting. Here we'll go to the third-person view. Shenandoah will have to rotate a little bit as the ball is supposed to make them do, but they're just going to drop the D.Va down on the point, but that's the first pick. Amform does get it. They pull the trigger. They're jumping onto the back line. It's the Discord on D.Va is the target, but unfortunately, Right gets frozen. Matthew trying to roll through, get some more advantage. Someone needs to touch the point. It is, I believe, a Binks back there. The Discord on Reinhardt. He's trying to clean that up. Matthew, a big pile drive, gets two. GMU is looking like they'll win this fight. Amform is able to stay alive the whole time. Honestly, that Discord is getting so much value.
Yes. And it's crucial that they stay alive, they win the fight, but they do it cleanly. George Mason, all numbers staying alive throughout that. They're going to have a chance to take this next point, and they're going to have to do it quick. Another 30 seconds on the clock. They're going to be rolling forward here. Ultimates, look at the advantage. They're going to have Blizzard on the side of Shenandoah, but George Mason coming up on multiple ultimates. Transcendence, Pulse Bomb, Bob coming up right now. They're going to have the rally here shortly, too. 15 seconds, though. They're going to have to pull the trigger quick in a Binks. Is there to make sure it happens on the point right now. Pulling Shenandoah back. But they got to go now.
He has the bomb as well. They have the bomb to throw on I was going to say onto the point, but he sees a good opportunity to pick the BAP. And now GMU actually is looking pretty good at taking the second point as well. They have the rally they got up. So this first fight win, or not first fight, but close to, it turned into an ult advantage for George Mason. They just need to clean up these rest of these members. They ran out of gas in the ult economy bank, except for the mines, which is perfect for the right side now. Shenandoah not able to get through that, and GMU will cap the second point as well. And that is not looking good for Shenandoah.
Again. It's clean once again. George Mason find that initial pick. And what they've been struggling to do that whole map in that final overtime, they do, and they do it twice, getting multiple picks with all members up. That's what you need to do to be successful on 2CP in a tall order for Shenandoah now. They might have been comfortable with their 20-second advantage, but now all of a sudden they find themselves on the back foot and a lot of work to do.
Because they need to cap that second point. A lot of the time in 2CP, you'll cap the first, but it's so rare to cap the second off of that. Even if you do get it off of a first fight, you have like some sort of ult advantage, the spawn advantage is really rough for offense. So defense gets that massive advantage on holding that second point, but it just happened too quick for Shenandoah to get good value off of it. They really needed that Blizzard to be massive in order to stall GMU. Maybe not even win off of it, but just to make the spawn advantage a better win condition. They weren't able to do that.
Yeah, I was a bit worried for George Mason. They were playing like a little bit split there at the end, but that Bob just solidifies the advantage. And the fact that not only does he get a big pick, but the Bob can stay out and pump a lot of damage in. It buys a lot of space for Binks and Matthew to be able to contest that point when they needed to and force Shenandoah into a rough spot, which George Mason takes advantage of.
All right, and they're going with the composition that they felt comfortable holding first in defense. They will have to worry about this brawl if they're able to close the distance. Honestly, I'm not too worried. They should be able to get some good damage. Unfortunately, right there was not the best. Right should be playing an off angle here. The Binks is as well. He can climb up there. So this is looking pretty good for at least this push. They have to watch out if Shenandoah pushes the point. They might get a little bit antsy. Unfortunately, the gold is forced out of Matthew here, so he's a little bit vulnerable if they choose to go on to him. Binks is getting answered by the Lucio, so now they have to brawl, and GMU's composition is not as good at doing that. They're able to kind of peel during this, so the gold is at a very good time. GMU is able to kind of peel off this brawl. At first, they're trying to take this fight in this room. They're down members, but Zappak gets the pick in there.
Yeah, the problem is both of George Mason lose their DPS. They're going to lock the legs to get back here in time, but George Mason at a damage deficit right now. They're going to fall back to the point here and try and stall it out. Wait for these members that are so important to come back.
Yeah, Binks has the angle right now, so he's trying to spam the BAP. GMU is staying alive so far. It looks like Binks may be answered, but he has at least an off angle, so no matter what, he's getting value right now and buying time for IXR to come back as well. Unfortunately, they're both on the same angle, so a Lucio and a Diva, I think, is going to answer them quite well, but it's the window. There's a lot of damage, and now the Reinhardt getting quite low on the side of Shenandoah. GMU with 3 picks up in the fight. Now there's not much for Shenandoah to do. Oh, they have the rally on the point as well, and the Molten Core. Shenandoah, there's no way they get GMU's first point here. GMU is moving up 2-2 in the series. Reverse sweep dream is available again.
I don't know why I even doubt you at this point. You mentioned it, but it sounds like just a dream, but George Mason make it happen. They bring it all the way back, and reverse sweep somehow has stayed alive. It's all going to come down to this final map. King of the Hill, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Where's the lie, Griff?
It's not there.
It's not there. I don't lie. I'm not wrong. GMU had the advantage coming into Escort, and GMU, I said it, 2CP is going to be a pretty rolly map. We didn't really see it so much on people's first offenses, but especially on our second offense, it was someone gets a pick. That whole map might get rolled, that whole side, that whole offense. And that's exactly what GMU wanted, that little bit of luck. I'm like, they just need a little bit. Honestly, it was mostly skill. They just saw the opportunity. I guess you could call Shenandoah's maybe potential misplays as lucky for GMU. It wasn't that big of a misplay. GMU just really had to go and find it, especially with that Bob at the angle. You know, it looked like it was going to be a good answer for Blizzard coming out, that you could still get onto the point and maybe have a chance of taking it. But no, turning that into a pick, and Amform getting a pick on first point, just GMU was just, I don't know, ready for that.
They find some crucial picks and are able to convert it into a map win. Exactly what you wanted out of them there.
All right, so there's going to be a quick BRB before the last map. It's got to be Nepal, of course. I already spoiled that for you, but don't go anywhere. Don't do anything but watch this stream, guys. Come on. This is going to be some great Overwatch. GMU is en route for another reverse sweep against Shenandoah again. It's up to how this Nepal map goes. All right, welcome back. GMU is now moving to Nepal. We are going to be on the left side here. Sorry, there's going to be a black screen for a second, but we're hopping in. Don't worry, it'll load. There it is. GMU now on the ball composition. It's a match on the side of Shenandoah. Both Ball and Tracer taking control of the Elephant side. Fortunately, I think they're going to get the hack on that Mega first. GMU is opting to play on the left side here. A lot of damage being traded. They see a Sombra. Unfortunately, both are going to go back. GMU not able to pick up anything yet. Matthew gets hacked. Unfortunately, that could spell disaster. Actually, no, he doesn't get hacked. They stop it, so he only gets Discord. GMU on the point. And yes, get that starting to accumulate percentage for their favor. Unfortunately, Matthew does go down here, so now it's up to the rest of the members of GMU to convert a pick pretty quick. They are going to demech the D.Va. Niner is able to pick that up as well. Yes, and the bomb, the stick, the 180, of course. You know, you got to adjust your crosshair to the right position. Niner ready on that. No stranger to Tracer. GMU turn that around. Of course, keep Amform up. That's a key element.
Yeah, and that was looking dangerous. They get the point, playing the objective game, but Matthew goes down, but it's all on Niner to equalize there. He takes the D.Va down, finishes the kill, and also gets the pulse bomb. Slaps it on fancily onto the enemy Zenyatta, and GMU able to wipe the rest of the point. Really good job there. Almost halfway right now. Inform going to go down early, though, and that's not exactly what you want to see here. George Mason going to be kiting over to the Mega, but both supports are going to go down, and now it's all going to be about how much extra percentage you can get here from George Mason, because there's no way you're winning this fight. D.Va going to do demech, Matthew going to go down. They might elect to stall here. Wright is going to do his best to make sure that they decide to finish the kill. And there it goes. And George Mason going to lose a couple more members. Going to make their way up to the high ground here and wait for the next push to begin.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that is 63%. That's like one fight. GMU got the point ticking over to their side pretty early. And then there was this neutral fight that went on for so long. So now GMU is so far up in the percentage there that one fight win could be pretty disastrous for Shenandoah. They do have to wait, clear these mines. Shenandoah playing slow, which is I think a little interesting. You know, GMU didn't fully commit outside of there, so they're kind of buying some time. Unfortunately, Niner does go down at some point while GMU was stuck on the high ground, not able to support and heal him. Matthew going to go down as well. GMU and Shenandoah still sitting on top of the rest of their ultimates. GMU will have pretty much 6 million in this next fight, so it's going to be a pretty big next fight.
Yeah, they have a Binks here on the flank with this EMP, but the difficulty is Shenandoah playing this ball tracer and dive composition. They're kind of staggered, so you're not going to get an EMP onto everyone. Looks like the target's going to be the back line here. The Bink's going to just use the hack, and because of that, the trance actually comes off in time, but Amform, in the meantime, is going to take matters into his own hands, gets 2 kills onto the Shenandoah backline, and then pops the trance here just to make sure that the rest of it goes smoothly. No one going down in the meanwhile. Binks is sort of having his own little duel in the back with the D.Va, but no, they'll take that. I'll go down to the D.Va to make sure that the objective gets captured, and George Mason going to look to finish off some kills here, pushing forward, but maybe deciding against it. Amform not deciding against it. Going to get another pick. Doing a great job here, finding key headshots onto targets on Shenandoah. It's going to be equalized here. Matthew maybe oversteps the boundaries a little bit, and Shenandoah are going to look to take space off this, but they don't have all their members either. Looks like both teams are just going to stare at each other for a little while. This favors George Mason since they do have control of the point. Zapek going to dive forward for the stun onto the ball. So the kill's not finished. Matthew going to dive in and make sure that it does happen, and a big EMP from a Binks is going to make sure that George Mason can take the rest of this fight. I say that, but nobody going down yet but the D.Va. There we go. Amform going to find another kill onto the Tracer in the backline. The supports on the side of Sindor are just being zoned right now off the point. Bomb to make sure that they can't contest into the ball.
Picks up the ball.
Shenandoah finds himself on the other side,
Tries to
trying
touch.
to nest.
Wow. All right, GMU. Specifically Amform.
Yeah, flips the switch there.
I've neglected the spectator feed on him. That or whenever he's on, he just knows. He's like, you can feel the presence. He's like, I am being watched. And he just starts to frag.
Yeah, really great job finding multiple picks, all of them headshots as well. Definitely displaying some skill, some prowess on the Zenyatta, and coming up big to turn that fight into George Mason's favor. And lest I remind our viewers how important it is, this is the last map of this series, so George Mason getting a nice, comforting advantage at the start here, taking the first map.
Yeah, Shenandoah must be sweating at this point. They have a lot on the line here. Of course, it's the conference championship right here, and now GMU is, as you said, moved 1 map up in the series. They're now in the brawl competition, which GMU has to respect and rotate back here. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get close because they still have the Torb and the Kree and a Sigma. So actually, this is like pretty bad for GMU. They don't really have the composition to do much in neutral, but they do find the Torbjorn off by the side. They do try to peel him, so Zapet unfortunately somehow goes down in that fight. Matthew looking to get a little bit aggressive here and peel for his team. Unfortunately, the big source of damage, Niner, goes down. The Binks, not much ult charge to make that fight worth. Looks like they're gonna rotate.
A difficult to execute fight from George Mason, no matter how you look at it. The team composition is not exactly ideal for that scenario once they come out there, and as a result, they're going to switch a couple components off from their team here. Both DPS going to be swapped out, and Matthew going to jump onto the Reinhardt from the Winston. Going to be looking to match, to some degree, the team comp that Shenandoah has here, and they're going to force out this initial objective. Getting the Reinhardt from the side of Shenandoah low, making them lose the Immortality Field. Going to find the pick eventually. Both Immortality Fields expended, but George Mason going to come out on top, right in your face, jumps in and gives a little boop to the Baptiste in the back line, and that's going to spell doom for Shenandoah's hold here. They're going to get forced off the point. George Mason's going to flip it, and they're going to have to run back to their spawn and regroup. Matthew finding a nice fire strike and charging in, just making sure that they can get the rest of these kills here. Just
Yeah,
going to
they
be
might even get the Reinhardt. No, they opt not to. That's fair. Yeah, GMU, they have you know, a slightly different composition from SU, right? There's the Torb available on the side of Shenandoah, but honestly, the Hanzo spans a lot more to shields, so they're able to kind of like push in on their side there. Oh my God, this push! The Immort coming out inside of Shenandoah. GMU is actually doing pretty well right now. It's Shenandoah that wants to play fast, but GMU's burning some time off of Shenandoah's clock. They do make them commit the Molten Core. The High Noon comes out on the side of Shenandoah as well. It's going to be, oh my gosh, a few more ults thrown out by GMU. the beat as well, so they're just kind of looking to stall, but playing this fight slow is exactly how they'll win it. I just didn't think it was going to be possible. The remake from right, he does get that back. Now he's looking to get a little bit aggressive inside of there and stall the point. Wow, picks up the Kree as well. Does unfortunately get DMEC from falling off, so he can't throw his bomb if he really wanted to stall that far. Matthew correctly tracking the enemy. Earth Shatter does block that, but unfortunately they're not going to stall for longer past that. But good point percentage.
Yeah, the benefit of George Mason there is that they do have control of that objective the whole time. They make Shenandoah work for it, cast a lot of ultimates, and expend some themselves just to make sure that they can retain some control of that objective. And they do have the dragon here. They're going to pop it early, try and force.
Look at that placement.
Going to have to commit the barrier from the side of Shenandoah. Really great cooldown expended. And the immortality field. George Mason going to be happy with that fight. But now it's about what they can work from. Zapat going for a little bit of a flank here, trying to boop them out in the open, see if they can get a pick. George Mason just playing slow here, waiting for that window to go down. And now they're going to take the fight to Shenandoah. Niner in the back line, looking for a flank here. Not going to find any. Actually going to go down himself, and the immortality field comes up just a little late. That's unfortunate. Bomb to answer. But Matthew's going to go down from George Mason as well. And what looks like the start of a really good fight from George Mason fizzles out. And they're going to be the ones on the back foot now. They're going to have to regroup in their own base here. Right, realize that they're going to stall him. Just going to take the quicker way back to spawn. And unfortunate from George Mason. They had a good advantage there, but just not able to utilize it. Shenandoah maintains control of that high ground, and George Mason doesn't successfully push them off of it.
Yeah,
it's going to be...
Unfortunately, they did have to respect the Mei there. They couldn't push in all the way off of the Dragons, but here they're going to rotate over to the point. They have the window available, so now GMU is going to throw that out. Shenandoah is not going to be able to touch, so this is going to be a good flip over. It's going to be last fight. Shenandoah does have the advantage in the ult economy, but GMU is looking to play slow. They have the High Noon, the Dragons, coming up soon. Matthew also close to the Earth Shatter. It's going to be the High Noon coming out inside of Shenandoah. In the wall, stopping them from backing out, but the immortality is there. GMU just have to watch out. They do avoid the Earth Shatter. Now they're getting close to their ultimates, but the Sigil comes out as well. I don't think we have an Immort available, but Abinks finally gets the Dragons to alleviate some of the pressure, at least on one of the tunnels here. He's trying to pick this Mei, but members of GMU are unfortunately falling down. It's going to be the Mei ult as well coming out for Shenandoah. So they just really had the ultimate advantage there. GMU,
yeah.
Good try. Unfortunately, did not get that retake.
Yeah, multiple ultimate advantages from Shenandoah utilized correctly. The Cassidy ultimate forces George Mason back into that little hole off of the objective. The Mei wall keeps Matthew out and makes sure that he takes a lot of damage to his shield. And then the Reinhardt comes in with the Shatter. Doesn't hit anyone, but a lot of pressure from George Mason. A lot of pressure put on George Mason forces them back into that little alcove and allows Shenandoah to flip the point. And then George Mason is on the back foot and sort of has to jump out into the open and right into their doom, which was the Blizzard. So, like you said, a lot of ultimate advantages coming into play there. Shenandoah, still must be said, utilizes them correctly and does take that, and it's all going to come down to this final map.
Or die on Nepal Village. Thankfully, GMU is not walking out with a comp deficit here, so it's pretty much a mirror match. Shenandoah does have the sim. We have the Kree, so technically a little bit better spam damage. Niner is on the flank. He's looking to pick up bat, but Diva sees him, unfortunately. Oh, yeah, you're right. Big wall. Okay. I was like worried about Niner there for a second, but GMU is pushing it in the core at a perfect time when Diva goes to peel and try to protect their BAP on the side of Shenandoah, but GMU perfectly is going to stop that from turning out into a very scary situation for Niner.
Yeah, a lot of them are falling back from the side of Shenandoah to peel off Niner in the backline, and then Abink says, hey guys, wait a second, walls them into the objective and lets Matthew just get to swing and picks out 3, and that's a sure one fight from George Mason. They're going to collect about 25% off of it before Shenandoah gets back, but the wall this time isn't so good. Blocks the shatter from Matthew, and Niner gets taken down in the backline again by Shenandoah's Diva. They're just going to be stalling here, fighting Shenandoah from both sides. Wall comes up, going to take down the Diva, but Matthew's lost on the other side, and it's going to come down to a stall game from George Mason. A lot of extra members from Shenandoah here, but Abinks isn't done yet. Neither is right in your face. They're going to take out 2 and keep this point up until it hits about 52%. So all things said and done, good initial points from George Mason.
Yeah, you know, they win the first fight. You start with a little bit of an ult advantage. Unfortunately, that wall play is going to cause GMU a few headaches, but they're going to have almost 4, maybe even 5 ultimates coming into the next fight. Fortunately, Shenandoah didn't really have to commit any ultimate in that last fight, so they're building up all of theirs. They have to worry about this window. Of course, they'll rotate just fine, even though the wall is there. They force it more. I don't think they have to.
Big one here is the Blizzard, though, on this close objective with everything in. Here it's going to come in. Oh, it's going to be both
the Reinhardt, and the beat is able to keep GMU up, and now Niner is fragging during this play, so now they're up at least numbers, and Shenandoah has committed 5 ultimates into this fight, and GMU has played around basically all of them perfectly. It's just the beat that wasn't committed on the side of Shenandoah. Now that's all they're going to have to work with on their next take, which is looking like potentially the last fight. And this is going to be it. This is the last map, the best of 3. They have to pour everything, their heart and soul, into this push.
Yeah, Shenandoah and George Mason working together to make a little Venn diagram on the point there, but comes out in George Mason's favor. They're going to be taking the high ground here. George Mason, seemingly aware of it, Anform's going to find them out, and they're going to rotate into the objective here. Playing around Shenandoah really quick. They're stalling out this push. Shenandoah's going to have to go now. It's down to the final percentage here, and George Mason's going to wall them out. Bomb's going to go in, but it's going to be walled off from Shenandoah. Big shatter, and it's going to keep them off the objective. George Mason, I can't believe it.
They did it.
Complete
Another reverse sweep. Oh, I didn't have anything to say about this Koth. I'm like, it's going to be better team wins, and guess that means GMU better team. Shenandoah is going to come away with a play of the game here. They had a great Sanctum. I will give them that. Of course, they started with a little bit of an advantage, you know, better composition. So GMU had to struggle to get that retake there at the last fight. But they pull it out in the end. GMU winning the best of 3, becoming your Southeast 2 conference champions. I forget which one. Forget the number. I'm sorry. Oh.
Well, you have a 50% chance, right?
There might be 3. There might be 3.
Even I don't know then. I'm trying to...
Southeast 1. All right, that's what it says in the lobby. Southeast 1 conference champions in CSL. I'll type a GG's in the chat for that one. My goodness. I think that was even better than the last reverse sweep.
Yeah.
Whew. Good reverse sweeps here today. My goodness.
Just goes to show you're never out of it until you give up. And George Mason, not a fan of that.
Not a fan of giving up at all. I think this is, I might have said this before, I think this is one of the seasons with probably the best mental fortitude on the teams. Like, you know, every team, you're going to have ups and downs, you know, whether you're in your scrims, you're not feeling yourself. Some days you're going to have some bad weeks. But I think this GMU team, and the evidence shows it with how many reverse sweeps they're getting, this is a pretty strong mental team that's able to just win where they're supposed to and don't stop that effort when things are going wrong.
Definitely. Strong showing from George Mason.
Let's
get bring things back from the brink. Oh, that'd be excellent.
All right. I don't think I can pull anyone. Here. Yeah, my heart was.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Crazy. All right, yes, I wanted to interview Matthew, so Matthew has opted. Do you have perms to OW Team A chat?
No, I don't.
Do you have perms to ranked 35 plus SR?
I think so. I can
move
see,
somewhere.
Like,
I'll move with you. I'll move with you. You go first. All right, waiting on Matthew here. This is our safe space. Ranked 3,500 plus SR. I think Matthew is Just too excited. I already
I
see
can
Niner
imagine.
with the. He's bringing up the footage. Yo, you guys see this? You guys see this? Very in
Mhm.
character. All right, we have Matthew here. So, my goodness, the first thing I gotta know is how are you feeling after that?
I lost it because we did it again.
I I lost it too, man. I whew. Okay. Let's see. Let's talk about the turning point. How'd you guys feel? Nubane was obviously really rough on a full hold, and then you had to go into Route 66 afterwards. What was the game plan for that? How are you guys feeling going into that?
So on route, I think that was the turning point map for the last series against this school, and we
Mm-hmm.
went ball
Mm-hmm.
comp at the gate. So we just kind of went like don't die comp, which is the double shield like Ash, Tor break stuff, and then I don't know. We kept just making swaps, and we just like kind of started to play a little smarter, and we just kind of did what we did the last time and tried to adapt to the whole series. Because on maps 1 and 2, we didn't adapt to anything.
Mm. That's a fair point. Okay, I see that now. Yeah, the
Yeah.
swaps towards the end were
Yeah.
pretty good. Do you have any questions, Griff?
Yeah, speaking of those swaps, there was another instance of that in the overtime on Temple of Anubis. You guys came out of the gates with a comp I guess you didn't really feel was good
Oh yeah, with
into
six man
Shenandoah's, and
into
you
brawl.
swapped and end up losing half of your time, but it ended up working out. So were you guys just thinking that you needed that comp to beat them, or was what
Um,
were you thinking there when you switched there with such little time on the clock?
uh, I don't know. I guess we were probably scrambling. A lot of points we were scrambling a lot. I mean, you could have seen a lot of times on Anubis, our executions weren't clean, and like both teams like would stay alive for like 60 seconds
Hmm.
or more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I barely remember that, but it was probably scrambling or us just like really trying to win the mental of like swapping and adapting and changing and everything. Because dude, maps 1 and 2 were so brutal, but we just like told ourselves we've done it once before. Our swap game is crazy, and if we just
Mm-hmm.
start running circles around people with different comps, we win, and that's what we did.
I love hearing that because I'm a big fan of you play to win. You don't play to not lose. I think I forgot what I referenced last time that Shenandoah did. Oh, it was on a Ilios. You could argue this both ways, but when they mirrored a composition that they did not play that entire series, you guys beat them on ruins with that
Yeah,
composition, and I think that was the ball composition. And so
yeah,
Shenandoah looked a little bit more prepared for that, but I also loved seeing that swap on Anubis because I knew it was going to be really tough running six man dive into the brawl.
yeah.
So,
It actually was. The only way we really won Anubis was we caught them off guard a lot. When they were running brawl, we kept spacing them out. But yeah,
hmm
it was kind of like the last series where when they were down to the wire, they mirrored us, and now when they were down to the wire, they screwed up their brawl that beat us the first map, and we knew we had the advantage from then and there.
perfect. Okay. That's all the questions I have. Griff, what about you?
No questions. Just wanted to say great job. From when me and Eric had that little warm up against you guys, I was like
Oh, yeah, that
very
happened.
impressed with your play. A lot of the charges you take scare me, but they always end up being big, pushing people out of the immort fields. Just a great job to the team getting a another reverse sweep. Congratulations.
Thank you
Yes,
so much,
big
but
congrats.
gotta shout out my team. Holy, like
Absolutely.
so many people popped off at moments. It was actually insane what we pulled together. History was made.
Absolutely. I was specking Amform. He was hot tonight.
Dude,
Today.
he was deflecting these flies, man. Nothing can touch him. Fly swatter with moon boots.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I loved seeing it. I hope everyone in the chat loves seeing it too. GMU, obviously the team to watch in Virginia. This means number one in VA, and we're moving on to whatever happens after conference finals. I guess it's the final playoffs of CSL. So don't miss any of it. I don't have a schedule on hand for you guys. Do either of you happen to
Uh,
know?
yeah, from what we have here, it looks like it's the 18th through the 21st is when the playoffs begin. As for
Okay, so
which
that's
day
Thursday
initially.
through the Sunday. All right, well, keep one eye open for GMU social media feeds and this stream. We'll try to give you a lot more advance notice today. We were expecting a CSL stream. I don't know if we tweeted about that though, so but we got this one out just in time. Anyway, okay. Thank you so much for coming to this interview. Thank you, chat, for coming out. GMU fragged. Congrats again, Matthew, and to your team. I'd like to thank everyone on Prod, which is Griff and Vinny, for being really quick to change stream titles on such a short notice and resend me the key. So great work at everyone at GMU. Real proud to be here. Real proud day for GMU. And we'll see you guys in this coming week for some more Overwatch. Do not miss you. Thank you so much again. I've been Hamster Quest. I still am, joined by Griff.
That's me. And we also have Matthew here.
We still got Matthew here. Yeah, you guys have a good day. All right, I'm closing the stream now. Have a good one.